All right.
What's that? What's that?
All right. Oh, that's cute.
Man,
That's what that is.
that's cute.
Better than a simple ass star that ain't doing nothing.
Here we go. Already.
Let's be real about going pro.
Yes, sir.
No, yes, sir.
Oh man.
All right, man. Got a couple of us inside the office today. Got me down the cheesy up here.
Still staying quarantined. It's just only 3 of us in here.
Look at y'all. Social distancing.
I'm gonna call Mayor Strickland on y'all.
Okay.
Okay. When he get there, I'm like, y'all ain't quarantined either. Get away from me.
All right, man. Well, good now topic this. First, we're talking about Tigers basketball. Y'all know what we're talking about. Next, would you rather game, the new NFL draft version of this game today. Then, let's continue talking NFL draft football. Do our draft goals for our favorite teams. And Jacksonville Jaguars. I love my division, man. Jacksonville Jaguars got stuff on.
Watch out go 9-7.
Yep, and we make for y'all.
They're gonna be number one in their division again.
Yep.
And we finish with our famous troll now. So first up, Tigers B-ball. Jalen Green thought he was coming. Said, nah, I'm going pro. I'm going to the G League. Get $500K. Get a scholarship to go back to college anytime you want. I ain't got no problems with it, actually. I just hate to keep having touch. Third player, I saw a specific picture. I remember when they all met at the practice facility 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago. James Wiseman, R.J. Hampton, and Jalen Green. Holding up and sleeping like they hold up the L, they hold up one. Guess what all three of them did? They all three of them went pro essentially because James Wiseman did it.
Yeah.
Wait. How y'all feel with thoughts?
I'll say definitely happy for Jalen Green. This is a much different route than anything that could have been talked about years ago. So definitely happy for him. I mean, he's getting paid to do something that he wants to do. He's actually being able to go to college whenever he wants to decide to go. So to be able to be paid $500,000 to play near your hometown, playing basketball, doing whatever you want to do is, I mean, you can't beat it. As a Memphis fan, it kind of hurts because I think we put all our eggs in. I wouldn't say we put all of our eggs in one basket, but we put a lot of the eggs in the basket.
Put a dozen in
We put a lot of eggs in that one basket to get Jalen Green. I think when we talked around this time last week, I think most of us kind of felt that he was coming. And then then the Precious tweets came out, and then other players from the team kind of started tweeting, just kind of giving like sort of little hints that he could possibly come or some big news was coming. Until I guess either the day before or the day of, he mentioned that he would be going pro. So it kind of hurts as a Memphis fan because you definitely wanted to see a player of his caliber be added to the roster, but it didn't happen. So it kind of hurts, and move forward from here.
Moving forward, yeah.
Like I said, man, this like the first or the second time since we didn't get Wiseman last year, that we could have had the number one player in back-to-back years, which is something I don't think has happened a lot of. But I'm definitely happy for him. Definitely get your money, and I like the fact that he's still gonna be given a scholarship to go to college. You know, A lot of people look at young athletes as, you know, as soon as they are able to go, you know, to the NBA or to the NFL too, they become instant millionaires. So it's like, as soon as they get there, do they have the maturity to, you know, even save money? Do they have the ability to even cash a check? You know what I'm saying? Because I just watched the Broke documentary on ESPN, and some guys literally didn't know how to cash a check. And you giving these to, you know, 18, 19-year-old kids. So that, like I said, the fact that they're looking out for him, you know, outside of basketball is a plus. But as far as Memphis goes, of course, we lose a good one. But I'd rather him go pro than him go somewhere else. You know, that's how I feel. And you know how I feel about the next 2 years. It's really looking like a legit statement that I said like last year. You know, in the next couple of years, the top 5 picks will come, you know, outside of the NCAA, which is, I'll be cheering for that, you know, perfectly. So in 2021, you know, he may come out as still the number 1 pick. It's just going to be a matter of how much he can improve and how much time he really gets to play with the G League. Because I believe even if you go to the G League and don't get playing time, are you really getting better? You know what I'm saying?
He getting playing time.
I mean, I hope so. He's going to have $1 million. He's going to get some playing time.
Yeah,
but I think that helps the G League, because it's like everybody don't want to go to the G League. And if I'm getting a $500,000 just coming straight out of high school and I'm able to go, you know, straight into the league, I don't have to go to college or go to BS classes or nothing like that, I'll take that over anything. Yes. You know what I'm saying? And it hurts the prestige of the NCAA, but I'm here for it.
Yeah. This is the wave now. Like, I think I said this maybe a year, maybe even longer than a year ago. I was like, the NBA needs to develop a way to just get these players who are pro ready. You know, basketball is different from football. Football, you need to go to college, get into the weights and all that stuff, get your game right. But basketball, I mean, y'all have been to high school games. Like, I remember we went to go to, what was that, Christian Brothers? We watched Wiseman, East play them. Man, that's an NBA player out there. Like, he can go pro right now. You know, so I mean, it hurts to not have him, you know, at Memphis, but I'd rather him, like Tuke said, like, go pro and just get your money, get NBA coaching, get NBA training, get NBA checks, get NBA exposure. You know, that's going to be better than any college program, in my opinion. The NCAA better figure something out, at least the basketball side of it, because it's going to be a lot more 5-star players. And even, I feel like even the top-notch 4-star players who like, man, I can go, I'm better than these dudes, man. That random person that play out in rural Mississippi that's cold, but he a 4-star because he don't got exposure. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can go and get training and be a decent NBA player. So I don't know how it's going to look for college basketball in the next few years, but I don't even know how it's going to look for high school basketball, to be honest. But they got some problems on their hands.
Yeah, because I was thinking about this because Imani Bates, who was the National Player of the Year as a sophomore. With all of this that was just being presented to Jalen Green, like, what's to stop Imani Bates from signing now to a G League team at this point?
Who was the guy that went pro after his junior year? He was like a center. He went overseas and got drafted by like the Warriors, I think. I forgot his name.
Was it Brad? What
I can't remember his name, but he was Sharp. Yeah, it was that guy. I mean, he didn't make it, but he left high school. You know?
Exactly.
About his junior year, he dropped out.
Yep. And just on the positive side of things, and as we all said, we would have loved to have Jalen Green in Memphis, but hey, go get your money. And hopefully the NBA will kind of like start this development program, kind of like how they were doing with the foreign players as far as negotiating on when to bring these people over or when to, you know, let them play out their time with their foreign teams before they eventually come over. So look for a lot of draftees to have some two-way deals going forward. So they, like, next year, Jalen Green may be the number 1 overall pick, and if the team feels that he's not ready at that point, which, of course, a lot of us think he will be, then just keep him on the G League team until you're ready to bring him over. So I could definitely see that type of program with the NBA and the G League development. And as y'all said, it's going to be tough for the NCAA to compete against the NBA on selling them the NBA, which is going to be tough for them going forward. So.
Yeah, this is the downslope of collegiate sports altogether. If you ask me, the reason why I say that is, first of all, where did the G League get $500,000 to pay a player? Because their average salary for a player is about anywhere from about 30,000 when they first started to about 50 to 75,000. And so my first question is where they get the money from, but I know it's from the NBA. Two, why just now doing this? Why not start this a little bit earlier? Maybe they were nervous because you could have got, no disrespect to Memphis, but you could have got James Wiseman if you would have done something like this the year before that, and some other players as well that would have stayed in the United States. I think the other part of this is how do you brand the G League so that people actually watch it? I think he's a good start for it, but I mean, you really put these games on like ESPN Plus, so to speak, so you get your subscriptions up for ESPN. NBA does a good deal, and then you get players that way. But again, shout out to this guy. I mean, at 19 years old, you're gonna make $500K. That's just off your base salary. That's awesome. And again, the opportunity to still go back to school is good too. I think it's just a huge step for the NBA and a huge, even bigger step in slapping the face to NCAA. Because the next thing that needs to go, not needs to go, but will go, will be college football. Because if they don't figure out this whole coronavirus by the time stadiums get here, that's a whole different animal that you're on to deal with. Because you're talking about, stadiums full of like 100,000 people. But basketball a little bit different. To your point, Savage, you can see a high school talent in basketball a little bit sooner than you can for football due to muscles, conditioning, things like that. So I just look forward to what this looks like moving forward. But somebody needs to profit about the minor league basketball system in the United States right now.
I think if I can go just a little bit more, Sheedy, to kind of answer what you said, I think it's more so chess, not checkers. You say, why did the G League try to go after, top prospects? I think because it's patience, you know what I'm saying? Consistency is key for sure, but after that is you got to be patient about it. And I think if they would have started, this maybe a year or two ago, they wouldn't have been as successful as now because of the NCAA crumbling so much. Like, you didn't have a number one player in James Wiseman not playing college basketball because of the NCAA. You know what I'm saying? So I think this is really the perfect timing to say, hey, okay, let's try to go against the NCAA and try to take away their viewership in some of their players, which they're obviously doing. Like I said, Jalen Green, he may be a number one pick. And to your point, Trev, it could be, he can get $1 million in the next 2 years just playing G League versus 2 years in college, going to, like I said, BS classes, training, getting, not doing whatever thing that you want to do as a person. You know what I'm saying? Like, we see the schedule that the college athletes are on now. So it's like, make $1 million in 2 years versus, college basketball. And I think that's where the G League is going to start going up with, because like I said, they're definitely getting the money. The viewership is definitely going to be there. And like I said, it's all about patience.
Yeah, and I think just to your point, I'll add this. I think another reason why the G League was kind of hesitant to kind of go this route was basically just talent overall as a whole. Because if you guys remember, like in the early 2000s, like after LeBron, KG, T-Mac, Kobe, and things of that nature, with all these great players that's come out of high school, we at one point, I think it was the 05 draft, you had like half the draft was like high schoolers going in the first round, and I can't remember, maybe one or two of them that actually panned out.
Dwight Howard.
Well, Dwight Howard.
That was it.
That was 04. That was 04. That was probably
you're
the
right.
last one that like, legit panned out and became a bona fide star. But I think nowadays, as more skill that these guys are getting in high school and with the talent going up, so now it looks like a prime opportunity for dude to go after this. I think just back then it was just like the talent just wasn't there as the talent is today. So that, to your point, that could be a reason why they was a little hesitant in the beginning to kind of roll this out.
So I think it works out. I think it works out on all fronts. Go back to Trevor's point, like NBA, I think they still go to the one and done eventually, but I think this is probably the best route. Get them through the G League, then come in, because you won't have, like he said, have the same problem all those high schoolers going to draft and nobody panning it out. Sure, we had some all-time greats, Kobe, LeBron, KG, John Kemp, of course, but you have way more that failed than ones that panned out. So I think it'll help both NBA and G League in that regard. But I also think, at least for viewership purposes, I think it helps college basketball. They just go back to how it was when players left straight from high school. You have more players stay in college longer. You have better basketball.
Thank you. Thank
There
you.
you go. That's
Definitely better
exactly
basketball.
there it is.
That's a good point, but who wants to really watch a team full of 3-star players? You know what I'm saying?
They're
Or
a good
possibly 4-star players. Like there
I
may
think-
be a couple of 5-star players, but they'll be so spread out. to where
College
it's like,
basketball
I don't know
has
if
a
you
has
watch
a
it.
college basketball has like a niche of and people who are going to the college and then people who just appreciate the basketball. So you may get teams like Virginia who get like 4 seniors,
Right.
but the basketball is so much better because they actually move the ball on offense and it doesn't go to one person and sit there. You know what I'm
So
saying?
let me ask you this though: how many seniors? We can go. How many juniors have there been in the top 10 in the NBA draft? I guess over the last 2-3 years too.
It's been a couple, I think. Well, I don't know about
A
seniors.
couple, but versus every like freshman.
But
freshman,
but the thing that comes to mind though is that these juniors who get picked up, even like sophomores, juniors, seniors get picked up, they're doing pretty well. So one that comes to mind is like Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield was senior or junior at Oklahoma. He just took a contract. I mean, that's good. He has staying power in the league, but I think part of it is because he was in the program for a long time. He became a leader, listened to the coaches, developed his game, and now he get like, I forgot how much money he get, but he getting paid. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he get paid. Yeah.
So,
good point.
So if anything, it helps the NBA to get better role players who are ready to play right now. Your Kyle Kuzma's, he wasn't top 10 pick, but he was a junior, I think, before he left. But he came in and was hooping. Now his ceiling is low, but he can play right now and help LeBron and AD win a chip. You know, so I think that's what the NBA wants is like more players that are ready compared to a player that's just going there for basically one semester, and by springtime comes around, ain't nobody going to class. You know what I'm saying? So.
And like I said, example, like you said, Virginia, when they won that championship year before last, Tennessee, they had the same 4 3-star players, and Grant Williams became a first-round pick afterward. He was like a number 150 or 90 player in their recruiting class. So some players, it benefits, and like I said, just viewership. College basketball was bad this year. Part of the reason
That was terrible.
You had a lot of young teams. I get tired of seeing Kentucky every year. Like a whole new team every single year.
That's true.
Right. It's like I want to see somebody that I know. I want to see Scotty Reynolds play for 15 years to Villanova again.
Who's the guy at Kansas? The guy at Kansas.
I think before we move on, Shark, another thing that we gotta touch on is really too the agents that the players are starting to hire, like especially the Rich Pauls of the world, who's able to get a player $1 million to go to a school and not play ball with them, but do an internship or whatever. Like there are a lot of agents that are coming out that are trying to finesse the system in a way too. So I think that's something we also gotta look at as well. Is representation.
I wonder. I guess we do some more research. I want just that agent system they had applied last year. Is that still in or?
Maybe it's definitely probably something.
Yeah. So we do some more research today. But move forward. Let's talk about the Tigers. What's next? So I got three players on. Well, I got 3 things on my list on what's next. All right, we got 5-star Greg Brown, who's making his decision this Friday between us, Auburn, Texas, and G League. Right.
Yeah, he may be on the same team as Jalen Brown. That's what we don't know.
Yeah.
Also, a little nugget. I heard that Sam Mitchell is possibly the coach of that G League team, former assistant coach from the Tigers.
Damn.
And also, it's a new team they're making, and he only play like 10 to 12 games next season. It's straight up development. It's like that program that Jalen Green is going to is for development.
Oh.
Then, but after Greg Brown, his decision should be made this Friday. We don't expect him to come. But tomorrow we have another player who's making a decision tomorrow, a transfer. Hopefully the NCAA passed the transfer rule where they can immediately play this year. I think it's going to pass for next year, but hopefully it's for this year. Landis Noley. He averaged 15.5 points and 5.8 rebounds last year, his freshman year at Virginia Tech. 6'7" shooting guard. He's making his decision between Memphis, Georgia, and Ole Miss tomorrow. But he's from Georgia, if I'm mistaken.
He originally did.
Yeah, so hopefully he comes to us, but
well, if he come to Memphis, he ain't gonna play.
what?
No, he said LBR ain't gonna clear him. No, I'm saying the NCAA ain't gonna clear him for him to play. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
I'm like,
No, that's what I'm saying. They ain't gonna clear him to play. Memphis
I thought
gonna
you
have
talking
those
about
work.
on his ability. Like,
Oh no. I'm talking about eligibility.
yeah.
I'm talking not ability. Oh no, 15.5 points.
Oh, that's why it's
I'm
eligibility.
talking about eligibility, not ability. No.
And the last player I have is, of course, none other than Precious Achiuwa. He's the only player, lottery projected player that hasn't made his decision yet.
Right.
So,
I have a question. I have a question for y'all. What is Precious waiting on?
Because he's not going anywhere.
He probably waited on NCAA to drop the hammer. I don't know.
Who knows?
I'm like, at this point, I mean, the NBA draft is going to happen at some point. You're going to get your check, whether the season starts in October or December. If I'm Precious, and I'm his dad or whoever, mom, whatever, I'm like, boy, if you don't get your ass out here and go this damn this draft, man.
Like he's top 10 right now. So it's like, what are you waiting on?
Because top 10 can easily be top 3. If y'all go and watch that Tigers, the Tigers ESPN show, he literally like told one of the coaches like, I'm coming back next year, and like they thought he was joking. But I kind of looked at it like, no, he's actually coming. Like he actually gonna come back for real.
I will say this:
I don't.
The fact that he hasn't declared, the fact that he isn't working out, trying to work out for NBA teams and nothing like that is like he's coming back. He's.
I don't think he should come back. Honestly,
I don't think he should, but I think he will.
Because the more you play college ball, the more and more stuff they're going to pick apart about you.
I mean, but that's the point that we kind of made in the last argument, though. Too.
Yeah,
like,
but you're projected to go. You're projected to go top 10 right now.
Yeah, you can be top 3 next year.
Well, he can get hurt next year too.
There's not a guarantee that he's going to be top 3.
You can get hurt in the G League.
But he already get paid.
Yeah, he's not guaranteed to be top 3 next year because we know one of the top 3 spots is already going to Jalen Green. Second one could potentially be Greg Brown, and then whoever else could potentially be there that's coming out. So, like, if he was on the fence, like late first round, maybe early second, then yeah, I can see your point about Precious coming back. But dude, you was a lottery pick, like top 10.
I think this. Go ahead, Scott. Go ahead, Scott.
I think to answer your question, maybe what if that's not his end goal right now? What if he doesn't want to go to the league? I mean, granted, that's our opinion that he should go, and I think anybody in this room, if you went from being maybe a lottery pick to now you're in the lottery top 10 pick, and you hadn't said anything about going, what if that's not my mindset to go right now? What if I absolutely love the state of Memphis? What if I absolutely love Benny Hardaway, Mike Miller? What if I actually depending on what NCAA says, what if we actually can have a chance to win a championship next year? Maybe that's something that he wants to do. I mean,
because the prime example with that, Skylar, is who's the guy from that got drafted to Atlanta? What's his name?
Cambridge?
Not in Virginia. He played in Virginia.
Oh, DeAndre Hunter. He still got drafted in the lottery. Or not? I think maybe top 5, top 6, something like that.
Yeah, 1 6.
Yeah, he was like what, a junior?
He was 5.
He was 4. Yeah, he was 4.
Oh, yeah, he was 4.
Yeah. So, and in my opinion, Precious is a better player than him. I think Precious can get better on offense. Precious has very few problems in his game. Like he gets rebounds, he plays defense, he gives you effort. That period will get him drafted, whether that's 1 through 30 in the first. He's gonna be a first round pick if he come out this year or next year. Period. And the NBA can work on your offense. Look no further than what was the guy's name from Kansas, Darrell Arthur. 0 offense at Kansas, but I guarantee you that jumper from the top wing was money in Memphis. It was money in Denver. If Precious can develop that, he gonna be a lottery pick this year or next year, in my opinion. And he might boost himself up if he can develop his offense even more. But he gonna be a first round pick.
And I think he has the potential to definitely boost his offense, especially if the offense is literally ran through him.
It's him, right?
You know what I'm saying? If the offense is ran through him, that's why I said it goes from top 10 to top 3 easily. Because now you get your skills going, your skills better. You of course athletic. You're not, you still raw, but it's like you still developing in a system that's for you. And who knows, like the Tigers, they can do something next year for sure. Like they hungry, especially after. I don't know if we want to call this season a disappointment or not, but all those kids are hungry, man, and you got a real legit chance of doing something next year, especially if Precious there.
Right. So I think to go back to answer the question that Sharky presented, which is next, I think. You go to Leonard Fournette, I believe that's his name. I mean, he already has a crystal ball to predict to commit to Memphis. So that's something that's tomorrow. But then, like we all just sitting here talking about, I think what Precious does is next. I think that's the next thing that we need to look for is like, what does Precious leave? Does he stay? Because I think right now, if he hasn't, I mean, we all said that if he hasn't declared by now, he's probably staying. And then like you said, if you watch the documentary series that the Tigers had on ESPN Plus, like he loves Memphis. Like he says it all the time. Like even the current roster, like they're still doing this stuff in the community. Like, and he's still there with the team, still wearing the U of M gear. So he may end up staying. So I think if you go Landis Nolly, then you go Precious, and I think Kareem Maine, I think is somebody that they're looking at too. I mean,
size.
Man, you got to come to Memphis. Kyrie Walker is also he hasn't said anything yet. So that's a good 3 or 4 names that if you're a Memphis fan, you should look for. And I would think maybe of those outside of Precious, I think between Landis Nolly and Kareem Maine and Kyrie Walker, you're probably only getting 1, maybe 2, because they're already guarded heavy anyway. So that's to answer your question. That's what's next.
And honestly, this whole situation happening, really this year, as I'm reflecting on the Wiseman situation and even like Jalen Green going pro, this is really going to help Memphis. It should help Memphis. I think it will, because the team is already tight knit. They already like, man, we the whole thing that happened this past year was just messed up, but we are going to stick through it, fight through it. You getting Boogie back. Boogie should be better next year. Alo and Harris should be better next year. If Precious come back, I think this team should be, I don't want to say a national title contender, but they should be an Elite 8 team, in my opinion. Just based on having all these players back. You got buy-in. Mike Miller's coming back. You got consistency, which is what Memphis has needed for so long. They had no consistency. And so if Precious comes back, I think this team, the mindset going into the season will be, okay, we all we got, we all we need. We ain't got Wiseman, we ain't got Green, we ain't got all these other players. It's us. Let's rock and roll.
I think in a way that, like, just going back to the show on ESPN Plus, like being in quarantine kind of helped, as far as like other high school players, and some looking to transfer. It's like if you go there, like Memphis is literally the only college team with a show represented by LeBron James uninterrupted. Like that means something. Like it's not the Kentuckys, it's not Duke, it's not North Carolina, it's little old Memphis who got a show directed by Maverick and LeBron. That's key. You know what I'm saying? It's showing the coach of the city, and it's definitely showing the coach of a team. And I think a lot of kids are able to really see and, put themselves in, or, just imagine themselves being a part of. I think that helps too.
So I think his decision will ride a lot on the coronavirus, because we don't know. We really don't know the future. Like, we don't know. We know the NBA draft is going to happen. We don't know if college basketball will start this season on time, along with the NBA. So that might could affect his decision a lot too. But like we all hope he come back. I would still predict he leaves at this point, but if he come back, I mean, Ruby, please let me be wrong.
Let you be wrong.
I say that all the time. Let me be wrong, please. But I think with him, I think really, if we can get like Landis Nolly, he's that tall guard that we talking about we need. He's that Jalen Green and better. Yeah, he averaged 15 points a game his freshman year every Virginia Tech against the ACC schedule, so, and 6 rebounds. So if we can get him, he can be eligible this year, that would be like perfect. We really can. The Elite 8 run could be really in our sights. But I keep forgetting DJ Jeffrey's coming back. So I believe Precious come back with DJ coming back. That's definitely a NCAA tournament team, and we should at least win a game in the tournament, being the upsets and stuff. But she would have.
Yeah, I think, regardless of whatever decision Precious makes, we respect it either way, right? So whether he's going to get his bag for his money, he's earned it. Because before the start of this season, there was no talk of Precious Achiuwa. It was James Wiseman and the Tigers, right? He was like, so the oldest of the group, so to speak, right? And so, like, now you're not Otis, right? Now you're David Ruffin. Now we want to run the offense. Right? So do you come back and do that, or do you go solo, right? So yeah.
He saved that one.
So you gotta respect it either way. It's good music, good basketball either way. But if we run an offense through Precious and we get, like you said, y'all don't get all of them, right? You get at least 1 or 2. I think there is time for Elite. I shook my head at Elite 8. final national championship. I think that's what you said, Savage. And I was Elite Eight. Okay.
I said you could, but Elite Eight is where you should be, in my opinion, with that saying.
Okay, yeah, with
Precious.
Yes, he comes back, right? You grab one or two of these guys, and to your point, the other guys come back too. So yeah, I agree with that. If all those pieces fall into place, if not, I still think this team goes to the tournament. At best, I would say Sweet 16 without Precious. That's me without Precious. With Precious, I believe Elite Eight. Without Precious, at best, Sweet 16.
You being positive about the Tigers.
Look at them. Nice.
I'm proud of you, bro.
Buckeyes.
I don't know.
I'm proud of
The
you,
Buckeyes.
It's just my imagination.
NFL draft edition. We got a top wide receiver heavy draft. So the top two receivers. Who would you rather have? Philadelphia Eagles?
Yep.
Well, first of all, let me say this. Well, it's CD Lamb. Okay, go ahead.
CD Lamb. CD Lamb from Oklahoma. Who ran a 4.5, 62 receptions for 1,327 yards, 14 reception touchdowns, and 15 touchdowns total last year at Oklahoma. Or would you rather have Jerry Jeudy, who ran a 4.45, 77 receptions for 1,163 yards and 10 touchdowns last season at Alabama?
Come on, Howard Roseman. Come on.
Well, first of all, I don't care which one. We can have this one, that one, Henry Ruggs.
Just somebody who will catch the ball.
Justin Jefferson, if you can get hands on the ball and secure it and move fast, you are fine with me. That being said, if you putting a gun to my head, man, Jerry Jeudy can run some routes. I'll say that. He is crispy. But CD Lamb look like DeAndre Hopkins. He's 6'3", about 200. I'm going to go with CD Lamb because if we get CD Lamb, y'all, I'm going to be the most obnoxious person. Y'all thought I was obnoxious before? I'm going to be obnoxious because finally somebody can catch the damn ball with Carson Wentz. Finally. Y'all seen this. Matter of fact, Skylar, I was with you. Matter of fact, CD was there too. It was the Eagles and Cowboys game. I said, y'all, they're going to drop the ball on third down. And sure enough, Butterfingers every single time. So I don't care which one, but I won't CD Lamb. The floor is y'all's. I'm done.
I quickly go too because I really feel like just the consistency that CD Lamb brings to, I think, to any team will put him up there. You know, you make a comparison to DeAndre Hopkins, who, you know, I can definitely rock with, and that's pretty much like DeAndre Hopkins, who I call the best in the league, is because of his consistency. It don't matter what quarterback you put out there with him, he's gonna catch the ball, he's gonna put up numbers. And like I said, I definitely respect the Judy, but I'm gonna go with CD Lamb just because of the body and the consistency.
I'll go next. I'm going to go with the Jerry Jeudy route. I'm impressed with Jerry Jeudy numbers, even though CD Lamb had a better season statistically, but over Jerry Jeudy. But exactly, I think because Jerry Jeudy also had, I mean, he played on the team with a bunch of receivers. I mean, Savage, you mentioned Henry Ruggs. I mean, exactly. So I think I'm going to go with Jerry Jeudy just for the. I mean, if we're gonna talk about reputation, I mean, ain't too many receivers from Alabama that's missed lately. So I'm going Jerry Jeudy. And I think, and Savage mentioned the precision in which Jerry Jeudy runs routes. I think at the end of the day, regardless of speed, regardless of
he get open.
Exactly, you can get open at the end of the day, and you see what he also did in the SEC. Again, I know what CD Lamb did in the Big 12, and I know it's a more spread offense. But to see what Jerry Jeudy did and could have also possibly done in the SEC, I think speaks for itself too. So I'm going to go with Jerry Jeudy.
Like I said before, I can start it. Either one. I mean,
either one, yeah.
You can't go wrong. I mean, this is split hairs. But I go with Jerry Jeudy just for the route precision portion. I thought Scott was going to go this way, but Antonio Brown comes to mind. He's a great receiver because of what?
No.
I'm talking about on the field. I ain't talking about on the field.
I know.
Okay.
I'm thinking the route running piece. What was Antonio Brown great? Why why was he so great? Because of route running.
Crispy route running.
Routes. Yeah, and route running matters no matter what your speed is. Yeah, that's a little faster than CeeDee Lamb, but like I said, it's comparison either or. But I guess I go with the route running because I know that's definitely he's least likely to blitz than CeeDee Lamb, but I expect both of them to be great.
Because you can't teach route running. That's just something you just born with. You can't teach that.
No. What you got?
I'll hold it down for the SEC, and I'm also go Jerry Jeudy just on the notion of him running routes. I think the number one thing that I had to ask myself when it came to these two, and no disrespect to CeeDee Lamb, is like, who do I trust more to get open? If I need some receiver to get open. And of course, obviously that was Jerry Jeudy based on his ability to route run. I do think CeeDee Lamb is a little more physical and the type of guy that you can just throw the ball up and he can just go get it. But if it's 3rd and 8 and I need someone to give me 10 to possibly 15 yards, I'm gonna go Jerry Jeudy. So that's my pick.
Yeah. Before you break that,
yeah.
Oh
man, breaking news.
Yep.
We got time. Breaking news.
Breaking news.
Oh
my God! I'm sorry.
Jesus.
I cared about
I'm
what you
sorry,
had to say.
I'm sorry.
That nasty. Oh, I'm about to start cussing.
No, bro. I just looked at my phone, bro. I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry.
So CeeDee Lamb, the stats that he showed, and to your point, Big 12 does have a spread offense, but that was really more of a running quarterback with Jalen Hurts. And for a running quarterback in the 11 or 12 games that they did play, he still got over 1,000 yards. So that's amazing to say. Jeudy got over 1,000 yards with 2 different quarterbacks because Tua didn't play the whole year, right? And so Jerry Jeudy looks the most ready to go to the next level right now based upon you went through really 3 quarterbacks. Well, 2 quarterbacks, my fault, during this past season. And I think you're the most NFL ready right now with the route running and precision. Speed is Jerry Rice was not the fastest player in the world at all. And he'll tell you to this day. But he ran a crisp route and became the greatest wide receiver to ever play the game, and if not one of the top 2 or 3. And so it does come down to route running. So I give JJ the edge on this one over ABCD Lamb.
So before I break down,
Don't do it.
Brock Osweiler. Actually, DeAndre Hopkins said something earlier this week about that. He said, if I can do it with Brock, I can do it with anybody.
Not talking about Brock Lesnar, by the way.
So, on the sad notes, we just got a transfer announcement from a Tiger guard. Tyler Harris is gone.
That means somebody's coming.
I called this when he came, man. I knew.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this: I didn't believe it would happen because I believed it, but I didn't believe it because Tyler loves Memphis. Like, I know it hurts him to do this, but it's probably in his best interest to go somewhere where he will be probably the primary shooter or scorer. But this just looks like Landers Nolly is coming tomorrow.
Yeah.
It just confirms it, and this is going to benefit Memphis, even though it hurts because you're losing one of your boys in the city. But 6'7" is 6'7". You're gonna have DJ and Landers and maybe Precious. You got to have big guards in the tournament. So, hey, salute to Tyler. I don't know where he's gonna go. Maybe Tennessee, but
you better not go to no damn time.
Savage. No, I'm saying this. We got like our recruiting class. Like we got like 2 5-stars and like.
Oh, well, never mind.
Point guard transfer from Oregon. Those 4-stars. So we like stack next
Yeah, Tennessee's off the table for him.
stack next year, like real time.
Okay.
Tyler Harris, when he first came to Memphis, it hurt to see. Now put it this way, we needed him in his freshman year. I saw Bader was ranked like number 1 most of the year last year, and that was who he was going to go to if he didn't come to Memphis, and he was going to be starting there, from what I heard at the time he was coming out. So he could have been on the number 1 ranked team last year, starting point guard. Instead, he was coming out the bench for a team that didn't make the tournament. So I kind of figured, and thing like you said with Tyler, I know it hurts him. His family, his dad. I don't know if y'all remember Tony Harris, who went to Tennessee over Memphis. His dad was, I think, he's Tony Harris' uncle. But now they're cousins. And his dad was really involved with Tony Harris' recruitment out there. So his dad, I just know when Peter was recruiting him, his dad was kind of like, his family here was kind of like You probably need to go to Baylor, but Tyler wants to stay home and go to Memphis.
I would also say, too, I mean, like Seven said, that means if you read between the lines, that means somebody's coming, whether that's Landis Nole or if that's Kyrie Walker, or if that's Kareem Maine. I really like Kareem Maine is his name. But even if none of, let's just say hypothetically none of those come and you bring back everybody else minus top, like if you bring back everybody else, even with you bringing back everybody else, you still think Tyler Harris's minutes is already cut. Because if you think about it, like Penny loves Lester, loves DJ, he loves A-Lo. Daniel Ball, he didn't do too much last year. And then who else am I missing?
Boogie.
And then Boogie too. So then Boogie coming back. Once I saw Boogie coming back, I was like, somebody's leaving. I think it would have been Tyler or it would have been Damian. I would have probably more so bet that Damian would have left. But to see Tyler Harris is leaving, it hurts. But that just means somebody's coming, and I mean his minutes is getting cut drastically. So I hope the best for him wherever he goes.
I definitely echo everything that y'all said. With Tyler Harris, definitely a Memphian who will be loved, for sure, for even picking Memphis. But I do have to, let's be real. I think if it's anybody that was going to transfer off of last year's team, I'm kind of happy that it is Tyler, because Tyler's somebody who needs to ball in order to be productive. And I think you're getting, a few players that'll come in, bigger, can play better defense. And you filling those minutes with, with players who know what's up, you know what I'm saying? So I think that it'll be easier to kind of, I don't even want to say refill his production, but at the same time, I think you can find the shooters, especially if Boogie and Lester come in, playing better, shooting better. I think you can definitely, produce through those numbers through Tyler Harris. But Tyler definitely be mixed. He definitely had the heart of a champion, you know what I'm saying? And I love my short people, but I think if it's anybody that if it's anybody that transferred, I'm happy that it was Tyler, because Damian Ball, I think he has the potential. Just like I said, A-Lo was last year's X Factor. I think Damian could be next season's X Factor. It's all depending on how, what he does over the summer. So good luck to Tyler.
Salute.
Move forward. Shout out to Per Scout. See,
Breaking news.
Hey, Per Scout, when you hear this, bro, you can't be doing that while we recording, dog.
Give a shout out for the breaking news. But next topic, go to football. My favorite teams. Draft is playing this Thursday, Friday, so how long is y'all?
It's this week, thank God.
Yes.
Before we start, shout out to your boy, too. Got the Panthers hat on. I know we ain't gonna talk about it much, but shout out Christian McCaffrey for the contract extension. And I paid running back in history, $16 million a year.
Jeez.
And he worked every penny.
Yep.
I agree.
Worked every penny. I think that because we're gonna, and the thing is, like, I don't think we're gonna run him to the ground like last season, but I think he's still gonna produce, about the same amount, which is you do pay, for that kind of, but those kind of numbers and effort. And like he, one of the best, in my opinion, the best running back in the league. So he pay him, So I'm happy.
Since we already talked about your Panthers, right? What your draft goals?
Draft goals, honestly, is to just get better on defense. Like, honestly, with the on paper, offensively, we can put up some numbers offensively, honestly, especially once we see how Bridgewater connects with the guys. It's defense that I'm really worried about, because we lost our top, cornerback in James Bradbury. We got Dante Jackson, who would probably move up to that number one corner, but it's like, how are you going to produce? So I think you start off by selecting the best, defensive player available, which I hope is going to be Isaiah Simmons, but if not, Derrick Brown. Either those two combined with Brian Burns, from last year, I think you got a defense for the future. But other than that, just try to, get, even going after, Trayvon Diggs, Steven Diggs' brother from Alabama, the cornerback. I love to see him, with the Panthers. So I think you just use this draft to really get better, defensively as far as like the cornerbacks goes, but also, get some protection for Teddy Bridgewater, because you didn't do it for Cam, and you see how that went. So
Isaiah
I think
Simmons is perfect for y'all. Perfect.
Man.
That's what I want y'all to get, is Isaiah Simmons.
Especially after us losing Luke. Like, you need somebody that can make plays on defense, and he's definitely somebody who has the potential to definitely do that.
He literally plays 4 positions.
It's crazy.
He's safety. He can be a slot corner. He can be any linebacker. He can be an edge rusher. I think if y'all don't get him, y'all crazy.
even somebody else that took, I think you should look into. I think the guy's last name is Brown. Whether it's Derek Brown or Detrie
Derek
Brown or
Brown from
something like that from Auburn.
Derek Brown. Yeah.
I
He's
ain't seen
nice.
anybody
Yeah,
block
that's
him
why I
for
say
2
he's
years.
nice. If not,
I ain't seen nobody block him for 2 years. So trust me, if you get Isaiah Simmons, go get Mr. Brown from Auburn, and I promise you'll be A-okay.
Yeah, that's exactly what I want to see happen. But other than that, man, just keep being better. Like I said, our offense, we got the weapons to do really good and put up numbers. It's just people gonna be putting up numbers against us because our defense ain't gonna be looking good. But we're set up for the future, so let's start now. And I think this is the perfect time to do so.
Let's keep in the NFC. Savage, Eagles.
I
Out the receiver. All right.
was like, anybody can catch. Anybody can catch.
First, second, and third.
Okay, so we need to get 2 receivers. One that can catch and one that can run really fast. If we do that, with anything. Outside of receiver though, we got Darius Slay from the Lions, great pickup. We need another corner opposite. We did get a corner in the first round. I would not be mad at it. I would not be mad at that corner from Clemson. I would not be mad at any corner from Ohio State or LSU. It's fine with me. But the preference is a wide receiver in the first round. CeeDee Lamb, preferably in a trade-up, or Justin Jefferson, or Henry Ruggs, or anybody that can catch the ball. It's fine with me. It's perfectly fine. We spent the last few years drafting at non-skilled position outside of the running back last year, Miles Sanders, who's pretty good. But we need somebody that can catch the ball because we have literally our receivers now. Alshon will be hurt till December, so he ain't going to be playing. Deshaun Jackson, he'll be hurt by September. He ain't going to be playing. So we have Greg Ward, who played quarterback. We have Arcega Whiteside, who only had 1 touchdown and like 5 catches.
He was hyping him up in preseason.
He was killing it, but I don't know.
Boy.
He killed it. He had one game. He had 3 catches, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns. I'm like, okay, cool. But then he just don't play. So I'm like, Coach, what we? I don't. Just get somebody that can run fast and catch. I'm good.
All right.
Why you coming, man? That's fine.
Still in the NFC?
Yeah.
Staying in the NFC, my brother.
Cowboys.
And so
Quarterback.
Quarterback. Let's go, Savage.
I hope you wash your hands.
Oh, man.
So draft night for me for the Cowboys is still based upon defense. For all the moves that we've done and things that we don't really talk about as well, we have to get a corner or a safety. That's bottom line. Defensive backfield has to be established because we're going to get Van Der Esch back, right? And he's a huge part of our defense, a huge part. Maybe not the reason why we didn't go to the playoffs. I think that's coaching, but he's a huge part of our defense. And so we've signed a lot of guys to the defensive line that are veterans. And so I think our draft looks to a corner or a safety, unless I can look here and see you. I can look here and see you. Unless we do what the Steelers did and trade a pick for Fitzpatrick the way that we should trade the Jets for Jamal Adams.
That's been going around for like a year. I heard that for a year. So y'all didn't make a move on that.
Well, he's not about to die life either. So, I mean, but to me, we have to put everything on the table to get what we need, which is a championship. And at this point, it's not even about a championship. It's about getting into the playoffs and winning a game in the playoffs. Jamal does that. And if that means giving up the 17th pick in the NFL draft and the 51st pick, I believe, is our other pick, bye. Because Jamal's established in the league, and we can find some other safety from Mount Moriah to fill the void if need be.
Right. That's where they hoop. So y'all finna go find a hooper?
Well, listen, we got to sign.
Oh, y'all, you get instructions to the dog. That's what he's doing to you.
My son, Nate Robinson, he ain't doing nothing. Nate Robinson did play college football. But legitimately, we just need a defensive back whether they got a corner or a safety. I actually don't care. But like I said, I'll do the trade for Adams. We really need the safety. If you ask me, safety is our number one concern. Jeff Heath is gone. Jeff Heath is not about pass coverage.
He's also white.
Well, I mean, I know you don't like Adams.
We're gonna be 100 about it. I don't like white.
Let's be real.
HCR is the best
We
white
like
safety.
our white
I've seen.
brothers.
Oh no,
though.
Lynch. Lynch is the best one I've
That
ever
was
seen.
how long ago?
At least 2 decades. So I would definitely say safety because we need
Grant Delpit from LSU is pretty nice.
who?
Grant Delpit from LSU is pretty nice.
Yes. The question is going to be: is he going to be there
He'll be
by
there.
17?
He should be there.
He should be.
I think
Yeah.
he's projected second round.
there.
Projected second round, is he not?
Yeah.
Nah, they got him late first because they said we might take him.
He moved up then. And I will say this to your point, like you'll be amazed at how your defense, how much your defense improves when you have a ball hawking safety. I said that for years. Like Steelers had a ball hawking safety since Troy Polamalu. The moment Minka Fitzpatrick got there, I mean interceptions here, fumbles, like he just somehow he's always near the ball. And so when you have a safety like that, I promise you, your defense will change. I could almost say, damn, what your quarter look like. If you have a ball hawking safety, your defense is going to look that much better. So I hope that y'all get a safety, but
Safety is what.
we'll see what y'all do.
Priority is safety.
Yeah.
To me, priority is safety. But I also don't cash no checks. What the Steelers going to do?
Oh, well, since you're back.
Yeah.
Take it away, my brother. Take it away.
The Steelers defense, thank God, has improved drastically over the past 2 years. Thank God. Shout out to Minka Fitzpatrick. Also, shout out to TJ Watt, defensive player of the year, by the way. So what I would want the Steelers to do is look to the running back position. James Conner is good, but he's only good when he's on the field. And he ain't it because he can't stay on the field. So we've missed somebody like Le'Veon Bell since he left.
Oh, my God.
We missed somebody like Le'Veon Bell since he left. So we don't have a pick in the first round. So then you move to the second round. So the second round, you look at Jonathan Stewart. Not Jonathan Stewart. What's the guy from Wisconsin? The guy from Wisconsin. Jonathan Taylor. I knew it was something with Jonathan.
Not the Panthers running back.
Yeah,
Jonathan Taylor, who's there in the second round. And then also, J.K. Dobbins is also there in the second round. I want somebody who can tote the rock. I want somebody who can carry the ball 25, 30 times throughout the game because I want that person to be able to take the pressure off Ben Roethlisberger. I don't need him throwing my ball 35, 40, 45 times to win the game.
No.
So I would like for the Steelers to go running back in the second round. And then after that, either look at wide receiver because all of our wide receivers are pretty young. So nobody's pretty much established. I mean, if you want to say Juju, then it's fine. But then Juju was also hurt, and he didn't have even when he wasn't hurt, he didn't have too many good games. So I would look. That's also true. So if you don't look into wide receiver, then I also want to look at the defensive line. Cam Hayward, and Stephon Tuitt, who have been anchors on our defense for a very long time. They're getting up there in age. So you got to look into somebody on the defensive line. So I want to go running back, wide receiver, and then defensive line, D tackle type thing. So that's what I want.
Yeah. And just to tack on that, basically what my guy's saying is we need a lot of depth all across the board in this draft. I mean, we do have some immediate needs, but some people that could definitely solve those needs are not going to be there. He mentioned that we need to take a running back with our first pick in the second round. I'm hearing a lot of actually I read a lot of mock drafts and they're saying that we're going to take the running back from LSU. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I think I'm pronouncing that right. But I'm just with him. We need to address the running back situation. I think he'll be a nice pickup. Another mock draft had us like late in the 5th or 6th round. Had us taking Jawan Johnson from Oregon, who was put up some pretty decent stats. And the rest of the picks was either adding depth to the offensive line and possibly adding another edge rusher because this is actually a contract year for Bud Dupree, who's been great for us for the past year or so. So we don't know what his situation is going to look like contract-wise. We do have TJ, who was close to being Defensive Player of the Year. We're gonna have to pay him at some point. So of course, I'm with you. Blank check. We're gonna have to pay him at some point. But just looking to add depth, just basically all across the board. especially in the secondary as well. We need somebody outside of Minka and Joe. I would love to get somebody there, but getting another edge rusher, boosting up the offensive line, boosting up the running back position, adding another receiver, I think was what I would like for the Steelers to do this week.
So no quarterback for the both of y'all.
I like when you're dropping a quarterback.
No quarterback. No quarterback.
I'm still holding on to the fact that we can sign James. I'm still holding on to that.
Picking up James anyway. Y'all signing James?
Yeah. I'm still holding on to that.
Okay. Right on.
Titans.
Oh,
Tighten up.
I see what my head. One shout out to Football Talk, the Facebook group. The reason I keep looking down at my phone is because we are actually in a mock draft right now. I'm in a Facebook Messenger with a bunch of other Titans fans. So each team has a representative, and the fans of those teams are like in a separate messenger. We're actually doing a mock draft. So it's actually perfect topic for me right now because I'm actually doing it. So we're discussing. We got the pick on 29. I'm not used to this. We used to having a higher pick. But late first round, we might trade down and get to the second, get more seconds. I'll stick with Fred did so we can get more players and more depth. So before I start, I think our draft would depend on if we draft for edge rusher first, that means Jadeveon Clowney is not coming. If we don't draft for edge rusher first, then Jadeveon Clowney is coming. I think that's going to answer the question on draft night. But if we are there at 29, I think cornerback, because we resigned Logan Ryan, and I don't blame him. He paying the cornerback $10 million who can't keep up with not many people keep up with Tyreek Hill, but he's the slowest corner on our team, so no. We'll have to beat the Chiefs, so we need faster people. I would love Jeff Gladney from TCU, the cornerback from TCU. He's really good, and he played well in the Big 12, so
yeah.
Big 12 passing league, so you do that, you good in my book. Trayvon Diggs from Alabama is another good pick that I know Tuka said. That's somebody I like for us to get. But if we trade down to the second round, it's something else we need. We need a running back that catch the ball because Derrick Henry, that's not his strength. And we need a speed receiver. And we could knock out two birds with one stone, with one player from my beloved Memphis Tigers, with Antonio Gibson. We get him.
You can get him late. You can about 4th, 5th round.
Exactly. Third round. Yeah, third. Yeah. I think I saw my draft that was projected to get him in third. But if we get more seconds, go ahead and take him like your second round pick. That's why I say go ahead. Because you can knock out two birds in one stone. We got the catcher, we got the running back catch by the backfield and the speed receiver. You can play both roles. So you ain't got to worry about getting two players for each position.
Yeah.
So that's my dream. That's what I really want. And the top cornerback, either Jeff Gladney, Trayvon Diggs, or it's another cornerback from Utah. They actually had us mock the pick today, Jalen Johnson. Because any of those top players right there, and possibly in the third round pick, Teron Davenport, your boy, Savage.
My boy, yeah.
he been banging on the table to get Marlon Davidson from Auburn.
Mm-hmm.
So the other guy who was with Brown, who was killing it on the D-line, projected to get him in second and third round. So, any of those three, I loved it for us. So, and before we move forward, let's stay in my division. Leonard Fournette, Jacksonville Jaguars. Let me tell y'all about these buffoons.
Not buffoons, though.
He got a buffoon.
I mean, you would think it's many teams worse than the Texans. Jaguars are. There's no question about that, in my opinion. I mean, they be losing every year. Make the AFC Championship game 1 year and go back to losing. Like what?
It was an anomaly in time.
They got him there.
I mean everything. Yeah. So then before that, they had talking about trading him last year too, but it's coming back up. Mm-hmm. He said they should sign Cam Newton. They got who? Gardner Minshew, quarterback.
Gardner Minshew.
He's like Cam Newton. This is competition. You don't make them better. I mean, what, the day after? Not even 24 hours after. Trade block.
And it's time to pay him too. So and they ain't finna pay him.
They ain't finna pay him exactly.
So, what y'all thoughts about this? They got
Pittsburgh. Get on the phone, Pittsburgh.
First thing when I heard it, I was like, I honestly do not care. But I also mentioned earlier, not too long ago, that the Pittsburgh Steelers need a running back, and I want a running back that can carry the ball about 30 times. Leonard Fournette.
Fournette's their guy.
And I'm underware that he has to be paid soon. I think it's this year. We finally stopped paying for AB. What's it last year? 1 or 2. At some point, we're gonna get some cap space. Always before Jesus comes, And when that happens, then we can afford to pay Leonard Fournette. So I wouldn't mind him going to Pittsburgh just because I know what he can do and I know what type of back that he is. So, I mean, that's all I care about. But if you go to the Steelers, I honestly do not care where he goes.
Yep.
I thought it was hilarious that a player who was on the train block last year is making suggestions to a team that damn near just don't want him. You know what I'm saying? I think it's at a point where I think Fournette will get traded because the people that are running the Jaguars are just as crazy as the people, or let me not say people, Bill O'Brien from the Texans. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought it was just funny. I think Cam would do good in Jacksonville, just like depend on the weapons that he got. But, you know, Fournette to the Steelers, I like it. You know, it'll give y'all a good, like you said, a good running back y'all ain't had since Le'Veon Bell that you could get a ball to 25, 30 times. So I can rock with it. But as soon as I saw it, I started laughing. I was like, dude, you was on the train block last year. And you trying to make suggestions. So, you know, Cam Newton, y'all know I still rock with him, but it was just funny to me. It was funny.
Well, I know Savage is waiting for me in Godway.
You can wait for him for 6 months.
But I hope Leonard gets traded. I hope if Leonard is to get traded, I hope he goes to a contender and not a pretender. Because he's put in a lot of work, a lot of effort down there in Jacksonville. He's went through a multitude of quarterbacks that are par or subpar. And so I believe he does deserve a chance to be around someone where they don't always have to crowd 8 or 9 in the box for him to have a better season. If you look at the quarterbacks he's had, Blake Bortles. I don't. You
can stop right there.
Making it at this point. And you know they're getting Nick Foles is done right, and then you got Garden Mustache who's up now, and like I just don't. They don't scare me, right? Leonard Fournette scares me, and so I'll stack 8 or 9 in the box to prove to you that y'all can't throw the ball against me. And so, yeah, I really hope that Leonard just goes to a contender. I don't know who that contender is.
I have a team. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I see it happening. They're gonna trade all their picks, first, second, third. They got the running back from USC. He's more of a receiving back. I think his name was Jones. He's more of a receiving back. Yeah. They need a bruiser with Tom Brady, like Leonard, like not Leonard Fournette, but like LeGarrette Blount was in New England.
Yeah, like LeGarrette.
So Tampa Bay, I think it might happen.
I would disagree with you to the point because Bruce Arians is there as coach, and Bruce Arians likes to throw the damn ball. And so with Tom Brady now being there, and then you got Mike Evans, and then you got what's the other receiver on the other side?
Chris Godwin.
Chris Godwin, yeah, exactly. I don't think Leonard Fournette is for them. That's the only reason I said because Bruce Arians, when he was in Pittsburgh, he wanted to throw the ball all damn day.
Yeah, but
so that's the only reason I would disagree. But it makes sense.
Tom Brady likes play action. He likes play action. So he gets somebody to run the ball. I think Ronald Jones is his name. He ain't threatening nobody in that box. You put Leonard Fournette back there. Oh yeah, I'm putting 8, 9.
Might get this Chris Godwin on the outside. You got to really think about some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I heard they're talking about trading O.J. Howard too. So they might.
I hope not.
First round pick O.J. Howard.
Well, that's what it's time for.
Trolling
out.
All right. Who is first?
I have a trolling out. So we've seen in the news, we've seen on Twitter, we've seen in different sports reports that the Cleveland Browns may or may not
be careful
to trade offers.
Be careful.
They released new uniforms. That's the same uniforms that we've been there for 15 years. I could care less about the Browns. Anywho, but there's been reports back and forth that OBJ is he's available for trade. I think that he is. I'm always of the mindset that a rumor starts from somewhere. It starts from somewhere, and I think that he's going to be traded because I think they already have a bunch of weapons on offense, and I think trading him gives them some more pieces that adds depth to whatever they need depth to. I think he's ready to throw them off.
I will say no because I've said
Not true.
I'm saying no because I said months ago that he will not start the season with the Cleveland Browns. So I'm with you. I'm sticking with that.
Now, I say it's not true, but I think that's a rumor. I don't think Minnesota is the team.
Yeah.
No, it wouldn't be the Vikings. I don't think it'll be the Vikings.
Stephon Diggs and like because so you think Odell gonna end up there? Gonna act right?
Exactly.
Stephon Diggs, all people need. Like, nah. Sorry, too.
I will honestly say not a troll because, oh man, and it's killing me. But chemistry, you know what I'm saying? Chemistry. You got Baker who had a hell of a rookie season. And he was throwing Jarvis Landry. Him and Jarvis Landry, they had their chemistry that was going just like this. You know, he had Joku and everybody. And they've had, like, really one of the better off seasons for any team. And I think at this point, OBJ is expendable to bring in other pieces that can help them win games. So I'll say not a troll. It just depends on what they get back that I'm more concerned with. But if he stays, I'm happy for it.
I'm happy.
I would tend to agree with Skylar because rumors come from somewhere. You don't just say something just to say something. That's malpractice for a reporter or a journalist. So I don't think he's gonna get traded, but I think at some point traded this year. But I think at some point in the near future, maybe trade deadline if the Browns are not doing too well, he gets moved somewhere. Their best interest to get rid of him now to maximize his value. But it's kind of uncertain without having an off season. So really, teams don't have to trade for him right now. They can wait till week 8 or 9 whenever the trade deadline is. And I think you can get for like a 3rd round pick. To be honest, he comes with too much baggage to give up a first. But I'm gonna say it's not a troll.
So I want to get specific so I can say troll or not, like literally. I think he stays. I think he stays this year. And so after next year, then I think he is traded or what have you. I think it makes it past the trade deadline to the point that Savage just made about there's no OTAs or whenever OTAs will start. It'll be very, I'm not going to say scripted, but very very small in actual retrospect of how it is. I think they also need to extend the trade deadline. It shouldn't be like week 6. I think we should do something a little bit different this year with coronavirus. But again, I don't make any checks, just my own. So I think he stays with the team. I think they tried this system out again they have 2 tight ends now, right? To throw to about 14 receivers and 2 halfbacks. And so at this point, if they can't win. If they can't make a playoff push, then yeah, you trade for him. But to y'all's point, his greatest trade value is right now. Because if the season starts and he's not as productive as he should be, by no means he shouldn't be going over a 4th round pick, if you ask me. Based on where he's at.
That's fair.
With where he's at, because he would have had about 2 to 3 drop-off seasons now at that point. So he's only worth a 4th round pick. If DeAndre Hopkins ain't getting it like that, and he just got 1,000 plus from Brock Osweiler, then I gotta bring up Brock. No way that OBJ goes for more than a 4th round after this non-1,000 yard season.
Right on. Let me see. I got one. So I actually got 2 in the question in the form of 1. So seeing that, of course, we talked about it earlier in the show, Christian McCaffrey got paid, and I think he's going to be worth every penny. I think, troll and all, he's going to be, the first player to repeat as a receiver and rusher of 1,000 yards, and 2, he's going to lead the NFL in rushing next season.
I was actually surprised to hear. Well, I feel like Marshall Faulk was close to that at some point. I don't know. But say it again too.
That he's gonna repeat as the first player to get 1,000 yards and in rushing and receiving.
Okay.
Nobody's ever repeated before. And 2, he's gonna lead the NFL in rushing next season.
I'm gonna say that's not a troll because that's nothing but 60 yards rushing and receiving per game, and I feel like he get an 80-yard touchdown every game. So I'm gonna say it's not a troll. Because I like Christian McCaffrey. Like I always said, you need to get a running back that can catch and run the ball. That's McCaffrey. That's Kamara. That's Miles Sanders for the Eagles. Like I think that's a real possibility. That's why he get paid that much because he can do it. So not a troll.
Absolutely.
Not a troll for me either. Like
For both? For both?
Not troll for either. Both. I mean, 60 yards a game. I think even with y'all lifting his load, I do see him getting both 1,000 each. And he was leading rushing before the last game of the season. Derrick Henry didn't take the rush time to the very last game.
To the last game. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now I know it was either McCaffrey or Gavin Cook, one or two. They were all Nick and Nick. So it's like
Nick Chubb too.
Nick Chubb was the best. So I can see it happening. I mean, yeah, that's not troll to me.
I'm going to say it's a troll only because, and I love Chris McCaffrey. I love the production that he has on the field. I just think that that's so hard to do. It's a reason that it hasn't been done before. It hasn't been done before, right?
No, it's been done twice before him.
How long has it been since the last time it happened?
Let me see.
I'm like, was it Marshall Faulk who did
It
it?
It was Marshall Faulk.
That's a long time ago.
It was Marshall Faulk.
It's a long time ago, and I think if anybody can do it, it is Christian McCaffrey. I just don't think he does it again. I think he falls short somehow, some way. Maybe of the rushing title.
Marshall Faulk in 1999 and Roger Craig in 1985.
Roger Craig, 49ers, man.
Ooh, man.
I think, like I said, I think Christian McCaffrey can do it. I just don't think that he will. I think that's so hard to do because it's been far and few in between since it's happened. So I think it's a troll only because of that. But he can do it.
Right on.
I say no. I think he's going to do it. I think his carries is going to go up this season now that whoever's going to be. Now that he's got paid. So, yeah, I can definitely see it happening. So, I'm going now.
Of course.
Because this is why. When you got a quarterback this week, right? You got Teddy now. And I think to your point that you've always said though, too, I think you guys need another receiver. You try this passing game out more without Christian McCaffrey. He's now going to be the highest paid running back of all time. The one thing you don't want to do is hurt the highest paid running back of all time. So hopefully they don't take the Cowboys approach. Okay, don't want to do that. You're not playing until week damn near feels like 17. But I think you lighten his load a little bit. You bring in some other receivers, some other things, and so that he doesn't get, I'm gonna say the B part where he gets the most rushing yards. I don't think he reaches that this season. Okay. I think it's a better possibility for him to get the A, 1,000 yards out the backfield, 1,000 yards rushing and out the backfield receiving. But I don't believe he'll get a rushing title this season.
I like that y'all like the less and the low part. I definitely love to see we overused Christian McCaffrey like a mud last season. I think that's where the stats came from. But at the end of the day, I think we do have more playmakers who can open up the field for Christian. Like at the same time, DJ Moore, he was in top 10 last season in yards, in reception yards. Roby Anderson, somebody who I think is one of the most underrated wide receivers in the game, and I'm happy we got him. Like he'll definitely help as far as as far as game planning goes. So I think it will lessen the load, but I think he'll be more effective, which is why I went with he'll be back at it again.
And y'all got that. Y'all got Matt Rule from Baylor who can coach some offense. Then y'all got the guy from LSU,
Joe Brady,
coach some offense. So he gonna get some receiving yards. I know for sure. Some kind of
way. Absolutely.
So now I told y'all this mock draft thing. So the Panthers group, they selected C.J. Henderson from Florida, cornerback.
In the first round?
Yeah, number 7.
Number 7, that's because everybody else was gone?
Was Simmons gone?
Yeah, Isaiah Simmons is gone.
Okay.
Derek Brown gone too?
Huh?
Derek Brown gone too?
No, he's gone.
Yeah.
If Simmons is gone, I'm trading down if I'm y'all.
I'm trading down.
Like mid first round. I was like,
I don't want us to use a first rounder For a cornerback. I think we can trade for one or sign one.
Isn't he like really short? He's short, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's like short as hell.
I should add you to this. I should add you to this group.
You working with some people that don't know what they talking about.
Hey, I'm not in that group. That's their own mystery.
Oh, that's them. Oh no, they're probably no. I'm good.
I'm telling you something.
I can barely.
He's tall, Scott. He's 6'1". He's tall.
He looks shorter than that on college.
6'1", 202.
Not fit fast or something.
I don't know.
It's only so many groups that I can do. Like this Memphis Tigers group that we in. Like I can barely do that. I think that Carolina thing will. This is
You're in a 4.39. Remember Scott? He ran a 4.39, man. He fast. That's a first round pick right there.
I mean, shoot, Dante Jackson.
Derek Brown.
I'm saying him like first round. Maybe they saw
I know top 7 pick.
Unless y'all getting Okuda, I'm trading down. Okuda or Simmons, I'm trading down.
Yeah.
The Ohio State.
Now that is the only cornerback I love to have in the first round is Okuda. Like that boy good. He got the body.
He'll be gone by the time y'all draft him.
Yeah, exactly. And, he should be top one.
Money.
All right, all right. When this episode come out, we'll know. Let us know if it's Tiger or not. But guess what? We about to watch it now.
The GOAT.
The GOAT.
Shout out to the man.
Spoken reasons. Golly.
Oh, here we go.
Man, you didn't even have to do that, dog. You did not even have to do that, man.
Hey, no. I got something real quick because earlier today, of course, before the documentary aired, there was a story that came out about Jordan wanting for this footage to be put out right after the Cavs won their 2016 title. So of course this was originally supposed to come out in June. Of course, who was the main person to push for it to be moved up? That's right, it was LeBron James. So just another reminder why MJ's to go. So there you go.
Hey, I watched that more than the athlete documentary or ESPN.
Oh yeah,
it's lit.
It's pretty good.
It's lit. It brought some insights, but man, this Jordan documentary about to change the world. Like Jordan said, he think that the perception of him is gonna change. It's like you gotta be that kind of killer to be the best player in the world. Like you gotta view yourself in a certain way, carry yourself in a certain way to be the best player in the world, and that's what Jordan.
I think all of us know Jordan was an asshole.
Hey,
it's
but
just
that made him
much more in depth.
That also made him the best too. That's what made Kobe the best in some, to some extent. You
gotta be an asshole to be great. Apparently.
Exactly.
Hey, there you go.
LeBron traded half his team in trade deadline, so shit. Shout out to Trevor with the hat though. I saw that when we first got on.
I'm geared up, man. So hey.
Speaking of that, the Bulls fired there. Finally get them inspired.
So Sharky, are you gonna be a Bulls fan now?
Bro, you going back, bro? You going back home?
When Jimmy Butler goes back, I think that's where he going back. And we don't know if that ever happened.
Like, so Jimmy Butler literally left them. Like it's like I have no
my heart left.
Like literally, I have no care. I'm more I'm really more like a Grizzlies fan than even Miami Heat. I'm like,
yeah, I get it.
So really, I mean, I'm hometown Grizz, really.
Okay.
So when Jimmy leave, you gonna rock with the Grizz, or you gonna go back home to Chicago?
I'm staying with the Grizzlies and going wherever Jimmy Butler goes. But apparently, he's going nowhere after this. Might send the hoops to all the players and coaches.
Shout out to Jimmy Butler for that. He's a real.
Shout out to Jimmy Butler. Shout out to Mike Conley for the offer. He won the horse competition. I didn't watch it, but he won it.
I gave it a shot. I turned it off within the first 30 seconds.
30 seconds? Jeez.
It was like the audio was off, the video was off. Like it was a mess.
What is going on with 2020, bro? This is like the worst year, especially last night. Like I was so much looking forward to Babyface and Teddy Ryder last year.
Oh.
And that audio and vid, like,
So was Teddy Riley clearly looking forward to it.
I mean, they gonna have their rematch, I guess, tomorrow. So it is.
And Babyface ain't gonna show up because Babyface be like, man, look,
I got
Babyface ain't showing up. He was there after 15 minutes. I know if I was in college, I'd already left.
Yeah. Nah, that should be good to see tomorrow, man.
But next time,
Peace.